Welcome back to another edition of Building the Brand. I'm Mike Waddell here on AllenAmericans.com, and today we have a training camp edition around the ECHL with some of the best presidents in the league as we get ready for the 2021 season. We have Brent Thiessen of the Kansas City Mavericks, who's also the chair of the Board of Governors. We have Todd Mackin of two teams, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits and the Rapid City Rush. And we have a name familiar to a lot of American fans out there, Joe Lomurno from the Wichita Thunder with us here today. And guys, it has been a long time coming, almost, I guess, 8.5 months since the ECHL last played a game coming up on December 11th and 12th. All three of you folks will be in action with your teams as the 2021 season gets started with at least 13 teams in the ECHL. And Brent, as the chair of the Board of Governors, tell me about what this whole offseason has been like for you, not only on the team level, but also with your duties with the ECHL.
Sure. No, happy to be here, and thanks for having me. First and foremost, I think the fact that the ECHL is playing hockey is really a great thing for our league and for the teams that are able to play hockey. It's been a long, 8 months really from the time that we had to prematurely end our season on the front end of this, knowing that, or I should say not really knowing what the future was going to hold with this pandemic. But, I can't say enough about the work that a lot of people have put in and really getting us to this point. I mean, it's been a lot of planning without really knowing what the parameters or the facts are going to be. A lot of times they change midstream, and I think all of us here on the call have really weathered the storm and managed to make a lot of difficult decisions, have a lot of difficult conversations. But ultimately, in the end here, I'm really excited to say that we're going to be hitting the ice here, as you mentioned, in December.
And of course, Todd, you have not one but two teams. You've run the Rapid City Rush, but now you take over as well with Spire Hockey, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. So you've had two times the fun. At least Brent and Joel and myself, we only have one team, but you have to run two. So, and especially almost, 2-3 hours apart now in the time zone. So you pretty much have to be on 24/7 right now.
Yeah, I joke with people that it's rough when I'm in Rapid City because their day starts at 8, and that means 6 a.m. for me. I know Brent knows this about me, but I'm not really a big morning person. So it's like when they're hitting me up at 6 a.m., it's a little bit difficult. But it's all part of the end goal, which is, like Brent mentions, to play hockey. And so we're just excited that both our markets were able to have fans in the building, and then we can move forward to kick off the season. And it's really cool to be the only professional sports or hockey team to start in North America here. So all eyes will be on us, and I think we take that as a challenge, but also something that we don't take lightly.
Joel, as you look at the season from Wichita, like all of us, you're having to juggle a lot of different things, not only with the team and the immigration side, but also just with dealing with local restrictions. And we all are dealing with those things right now. What particular challenges have you had to endure there in Wichita, and how are you overcoming those to get closer to the start of your season?
Well, first of all, Todd, 2 teams is nothing. I used to have 3 teams to have fun with. So, and actually, Brent, you used to have 2 teams too. So, Mike, it looks like you need to pick something else up here.
I just, you know what, it's good enough right here. One's enough for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, and to answer your question, things have been very fluid here. Our biggest thing that we've been dealing with, which we really haven't, officially come out with, some of our fans have kind of picked up on it, is our county did roll back last week or earlier this week to a very limited amount of fans until the first week of January. So, when I started to get the news last week, I had to put our training camp plans on hold. So, we ended up holding on our furniture delivery to our apartments, and we held off on booking our player travel. We had to move physicals back because, unfortunately in this day and age, you have to coordinate apartments with physicals with COVID testing and quarantine period before you can go out on the ice. So we ended up pushing everything back. We had a decision to make this week. We did, in fact, decide that we are going to go ahead and play the season. So that's good. Had to play around now with the hours for the staff as we adjust to a potentially slow month of December. But we put everything back in play. We're going to start camp a week later, just to give us time to get the players in and to get our camp set up. Our coach, and I talked to him on Tuesday, and when we had the uncertainty, I said, okay, well, we're playing, so get in your car and drive here. So he got in his car and drove in and got in on Wednesday night, and we met this morning and went over our plan for camp. So it'll be an abbreviated camp, but, with the new schedule that's coming out for the first 5 weeks of the season, we can adjust since we'll only have one game for the first 15 days of the playing season. So a work in progress here, and we're going to do our best to get through it.
As we talked about, the 4 guys here on the screen with you today represent 5 teams in the ECHL, 5 of the 13 that will be playing early on. But there's not been any ECHL hockey since early March of 2020. So go around the room right here. I mean, what have each of you done to try to stay in touch with your fans and make them feel like they're still engaged, while for the better part of the last 9 months, there's not been any action on the ice?
Yeah, I think I can start with that. I think first and foremost, communication with the fans is incredibly important. And, one of the things we've seen or we've experienced is really a shift to a lot more digital, communicating with everybody through the quarantine, through the shutdown when everyone was sitting at home. We wanted to make sure that we were communicating, engaging our fans, which was also a very difficult time because, we didn't have access to the players. So, as a brand, as a team, we were challenging ourselves to find ways to engage with people, so that they were still continuing to think about, Kansas City Mavericks hockey, even though, it might have been not hockey season per se in the summer. One of the things we did was we started a trivia contest. We were able to gain a sponsor that way. And we hosted a trivia contest that was live, and we gave away prizes for that, and that's something that we've continued to do. We'll continue to do it through the season. That was incredibly important. When you start shifting to the actual communication with the fans, one of the challenges that I think we have found is that you want to make sure that the fans understand where we sit, where we stand as a league, with our season, with our players. And one of the challenges, of course, to that is that this is an evolving, fluid situation. And, you don't want to over communicate things or have to re-communicate things. So, we've really had to walk a fine line of, what do you communicate to fans? What are you sure of? Because, of course, the more and more things change, the more and more credibility you lose if you're having to go back to those fans and say something has changed. So we all know that, it's a very fluid situation. It's, there's obviously a good chance that games will be shifted. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time that happens. So, sure. I think one of the big things for us is just moving to more digital communication and engagement with our fans.
What about in Wichita, Joel?
Well, again, and Brent makes a really good point. We didn't want to go out and give out too much information. I mean, there were teams when we got our original schedule way back in April, which, man, what a great schedule we had. It's the best schedule we ever had for home dates spread out. So it's pretty jacked. But, whereas some teams went and released their schedule, we did not. We just teased it, for the first couple months to keep people interested. Like, hey, our first game is going to be here. Hey, we've got a team coming in that's never been here. Hey, we're going to play 13 different teams in our building this year. So we kind of tried to just stretch it out as much as we could. And then, of course, we found out that we were going to push everything back. So again, you just trickle stuff out. So a couple of new things we did this year. We had an online, or excuse me, a live sale from our merchandise store through a platform called Comment Sold, where in the style of TVC, myself and our PR guy went out to the arena, and I modeled all of our merchandise live for a couple hours and set it up so that people could literally just click sold during that product number. And, we sold a couple grand worth of merch in an hour. So that was really cool. Believe it or not, I do like to be out there and be in front of the fans and talk a lot. I might talk a lot. But I've been doing my best to keep people informed. And now, of course, again, we've got this new situation we're facing. So we're going to, we're taking it day by day. We'll have a press release coming out this afternoon, which will just stay in communication with the fans. If I could brag a little, I mean, we had the, I don't even know what it's called, the hockey tournament over the summer, I think in August or so, where the one player from each team played the NHL 21 with the teams, and our player Bo Starrett won the thing. I told him I would give him $1,000 for winning. Brent, that's acceptable, right?
We'll have to talk about that later.
So that was cool. I thought that was a really good idea. Just keeping things fresh. I think for the most part, fans have learned that what you're going to do and what actually happens is not set in stone. So I think it's been easier to pivot. I'm having to pivot again for the 9th time with the staff and the schedule and the tickets going on sale. So, we'll get through it, but our owner committed to play this season with the ECHL. So hopefully things go through without too many problems and we get things going. Obviously, if things slow down and we end up having to cancel a game or two, we'll pivot again. So fluid is the word that I think we've all used more than we've ever used in our previous lives up over the last few months.
Todd, in Greenville, you're just taking over a team that you've not been on the ground with previously, but in Rapid City, you know that market. So have there been differences in how you've engaged those two different fan bases?
For sure. In South Dakota, there wasn't quite the restrictions and shutdown that a lot of other markets had to endure. So we were actually lucky and able to do a lot of season ticket holder events. We had a select-a-seat. We also had our Fan Fest. As everybody on this call knows, we are more community partners than we are actual professional sports teams. And I think at this level, engaging our market in the community and being boots on the ground and doing all the things that have made all of us successful is extremely important. And we've been able to continue those in Rapid City. So that part of it's been great. Obviously, we're doing our best to keep our fans and our staff safe during that time. But we have had the ability to run some of those events. And our Fan Fest was, we did it on Halloween, and it was really, really well received. It was a pretty packed event for us. So, we've had that ability to communicate with our fans, and certainly we've done a lot of the things that Brent and Joel both spoke about, which is, digital, getting in front of people the best ways we can. We had our mascot do a bunch of pop-ins on schools that were doing digital classes and stuff throughout the summer and throughout the end of last season. So we've been very engaged in Rapid City. In Greenville, you mentioned us taking over at the end of last year, last season, right before the shutdown. It's been a little bit different because we haven't been able to be as outgoing and as involved as we would like to be. And so that's going to be a continual process for us to get involved with the fans, to connect with people. It's obviously tougher to connect and tell your story through digital platforms, but it is something we've tried to do. So we had a lot of change there, new head coach, brought in a lot of new staff to kind of upgrade that market. And so we're just working as hard as we possibly can to have those one-on-one type meetings. And like I told our staff when we got to Rapid City, and the same thing I tell them when we're in Greenville, it's one person at a time, one fan at a time. And so we got to do everything in our power to make those connections meaningful.
That is Todd Mackin of the Greenville Swamp Rapids and the Rapid City Rush. Also joining us here on Building the Brand today on AllenAmericans.com is Brent Thiessen. He's the chair of the Board of Governors and the president of the Kansas City Mavericks, and Joel Lomurno from the Wichita Thunder. So it's COVID. Everybody talks about COVID all the time. Even the Ravens and Steelers game that was supposed to be played on Thanksgiving, then it was moved into the weekend. Now it's been moved to Tuesday. Things are getting moved around left and right in professional sports. So we have to be nimble this year. But there are also things that are part of the normal hockey game night that just aren't going to be possible this year. How have you been able to brainstorm maybe several different game elements that can go on, maybe replacing some of the things that were chuck-a-puck or autograph lines or things like that?
Yeah, I'll start it off, and I'll give one for us, and then I'll let the other guys talk here. But for us, anthems are a big part of what we do. We oftentimes have school choirs and bands that perform it at games. Obviously, that's going to be a challenge, of course, in this environment. So one of the things we've been able to do is solicit schools to submit videos of their choirs performing, and we're going to be able to play those on our video boards, and of course that'll come through Flow TV as well. So fans or choir participants, band members that want to see themselves performing, they're going to be able to log into Flow Sports and actually see their performance at a game here. So even though they can't be here in person, they can still follow us around. They can still be part of our game. And of course, we can still highlight those particular groups and choirs and bands in the arena to the fans that are in attendance.
Joel?
We're going to be limited, as I think we all are, in the amount of people that we can bring down for contests. So we're going to be keeping it family situated in groups of 2 or 4. So I think we're going to go with the kind of the family of feud approach for this year, kind of a new way to do a contest. And then, of course, bringing things more to the video board that involve more people without bringing them down. So obviously we have to navigate the way we're going to hand out the prizes and the coupons after the game. So if we can find new ways and urge our sponsors to make the prizes for winners digital is another way that we're going to help out. Obviously, I think most of us, if not all, are looking to move Chuck-a-Puck to the end of the game. Not a bad thing, because I think with an extra hour we can sell some more Chuck-a-Pucks. So, that'll be another thing. Most of our stuff, will be light at the intermissions and a little heavier after game to try and get in as much as we can.
Great point. Todd?
Yeah, I think again, we have to be. We're a little bit different in each market. In Rapid City, again, we don't have any restrictions on building capacity. The team has put in place some socially distanced sections and some other mandates that will hopefully keep people safe at the games. But we are going to continue to operate pretty much the way we had done in the past, with obviously an uptick on cleaning and hand sanitizing stations and socially distanced options. And we're doing some different things with concessions to allow people to not have to leave their seats to order food. But we are lucky in the fact that we do have the ability to pretty much run our game as usual there. In Greenville, we are socially distanced sections and seats, so everybody has to be 6 feet apart. They're in pod seatings, so our 15,000 seat venue is now just under 4,000. So we're trying to get very creative. I know all of us run. Groups are a huge part of our business, and so we've tried to get creative on how we can do that. We've sent out basically we've been opening up the upper level for people to buy full sections for groups, so they'd all be in that same section, but their seats would all be socially distanced and set up. As far as anything that we had potentially done before, as far as sitting on the bench during warm-ups and all those different aspects, those are all gone from both markets. But we are trying to make up for those with other just different new and exciting ideas. So
should be a lot of fun. Now on opening night, December 11th, Kansas City, Brent, your team is at Indy. Utah is with you, Todd, up in Rapid City, and Wichita, you're on the road at Tulsa. So as we're getting closer now to the start of this season, as we close out this edition of Building the Brand. I'm going to go around the room. We'll start with Todd because he's been usually the last one to go on all of these things. So we're going to start out with Todd, then Joel, then Brent. Give me one prediction for the upcoming 2021 season. I've watched all these political shows for the last 6 months, and they always have predictions, and they're the highest rated parts of the show. So we'll put you on the spot. We don't give you any quarter here on Building the Brand. Just go ahead and, Todd, give us one prediction for the 2021 season.
I think it's going to be very exciting, and I think the cool prediction I have is that I really believe in our league, and I really believe in the people leading these teams, and I think we have a really interesting opportunity to kick off hockey across North America, and really all eyes are going to be on us. So my prediction is that we get this rolling, and we are. Our league is a baseline for other leagues to start up and get running, and they're going to be looking at, all eyes are going to be on us. So my prediction is we're going to get rolling, and this is going to be a fun, exciting, engaging season that we're all going to look back on and think about how much we learned.
That's a great one. We'll hope that comes true. What you got, Joel?
Well, obviously my prediction is that on a nightly basis we're going to pound the daylights out of the Allen Americans. Just kidding. That's going to be a fun battle, obviously, between our two teams. For you two guys at the bottom of the screen, Mike's been trying to ramp up the rivalry with the Wichita Thunder, maybe not knowing that I think the Wichita Thunder and the Allen Americans lead the league in bench clears over the last 3 years with 3, which I am proud of, I will say, as I have my picture of Scott Muscat and Derek Laxdal fighting post-game hanging behind me. But my real prediction, and I'll throw a little bone to Taylor Hall from the Tulsa Oilers, is that we faced a lot of issues this last week, and we are having a 3-day training camp. His feel and our prediction is that despite having no camp and players rushing to town, we're going to go out on opening night and whip Tulsa probably to get the season off with a win.
Love it. Love it. Always good to have a little interplay going back and forth. I like that a lot. Brent, as the chair of the Board of Governors and the president of the Kansas City Mavericks, we'll let you make 2 predictions since you have 2 positions.
I get a bonus prediction here. Well, I think first and foremost, the one thing that I would say is that none of us are naive to think that staff and players are not going to get COVID. I think that we have tremendous amount of protocols and safety measures that we have implemented to make everybody as safe as possible. But we know it's going to happen. My prediction is that we are going to have to be very flexible this year and maybe reschedule some games if the situation permits. But that every team is going to get all of their games in. So that's my one big prediction. Like I said, going back to that prediction, I do think that it's going to be, the one word we're kind of adopting this year is flexible. We're talking about that with the players. We're talking about that with our fans, and of course our staff as well. And so, we can prepare and be buttoned up, but at the end of the day, we've got to be able to roll with the situation and be good community partners. So that's my one prediction. We'll get all of our games in there. My second prediction is that prediction. I'm going to predict that we're going to see a lot of Wichita this year. I know the second half schedule hasn't come out, and we'll see a lot of Wichita. And those games are always good. And I think that it's nice to have an opponent that is about 3 hours away. It certainly helps with a lot of the protocol and safety measures that we're trying to put into place. So we'll see a lot of Wichita. I think my prediction is that maybe more so than in normal years.
Well, I tell you one thing, guys, you've been all first class to come in and be a part of this today. Joel has an extra bonus here.
Yeah, I just figured that, you've been asking all these questions. You haven't had to answer any of these tough questions. So how about throwing you on the spot? What is your big prediction as your first new year with the Allen Americans?
Well, my first ECHL season in 30 years, I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited to be able to be a part of this. And as has already been said, my goal this year, our magic number is 72. I'd really like to see 36 successful road games and 36 successful home games. I'd like to really hope that our fans at the end of the year feel like that while this was a unorthodox year, that it was one that was truly memorable. And hopefully, if the things and the conditions present themselves, that we have the opportunity to make sure that our fans are safe, our players are safe, and that we have a successful season. Because there's a I don't know. I didn't get on this bandwagon with Alan until the end of March, but there are a lot of disappointed fans around here that they didn't get a chance to see that team last year go to the playoffs. So, right now they just want to get back to hockey. So I won't make any predictions about games or anything like that. You guys know far more about this than I do, but I'm just excited to be on the screen with the three of you and to be able to get playing here on December 12th when we open up.
Mike, is this the time that we'll announce our promotion where we're going to play New Year's Eve in Allen, and then we're going to have the buses race and bang their way back to Wichita?
It's a hell of an idea.
Immediately go on the ice January 1 and play the game.
I think we got to do that. I think
that was Mike's idea. I want to give him full credit for it.
I want to do that. I'll just play the first game of 2021. We play at 6 a.m. in Wichita, and yeah, we just go right
get
there.
Points for the bus race.
Kegs and eggs. We go like that. I love it. I love it, guys. Thank you very much. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your families, and good luck as you get throughout your 2021 preseason.